Kitco Mining special coverage of Xplor is brought to you by Radisson Mining.
Welcome back to Kitco Mining's ongoing coverage of Xplor 2025 in Montreal. Joining me now is Peter van Alphen, President and CEO of Nuvau Minerals. So Peter, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ernest.
So this is an interesting story. Nuvau Minerals is working to restart mining operations at Quebec's past-producing Matagami mining camp. So this is in the Abitibi greenstone belt, and it was past-producing for copper and zinc, but you have now found a potential for gold deposits there as well.
Yeah, correct. So Glencore was the previous operator there. Before them it was Xstrata. Before them it was Noranda. So this is a past-producing camp. There's 60 million tons, 60 years of base metal mining that has happened on from this property. And so it's a long-time producer for copper and zinc in the northern Abitibi. But the property sits up in the northern Abitibi, and we've got Fenelon, we've got Detour Gold to our west, we've got Casabaradi to our southwest. We're in gold mining country, and yet this property has never actually had a concerted effort put into gold exploration on it, just simply because the past owners were always very focused on base metals. So that's the opportunity, both near-term production but incredible exploration opportunity on the property.
All right, so I guess we'll get into some of the specifics on the production and the exploration in a little bit, but this is also a very recent story. So the company only went public in December of 2024. So that's less than a year. We're in October here. So tell me what's been the trajectory for 2025 so far?
Yeah, so the company, we, as you say, we went public at the end of last year, close to just before Christmas. And prior to that, we were operating as a private company for about 3 years, just under 3 years. And so went public last year. This year's been focused on completing our earning with Glencore, and so that's still an ongoing process there, but we've completed the spending on that. And so, we're in the closing phases of the earning. And it's been, this year started out with our typical winter drilling program, and then has been some additional work that we've done over the summer, but now looking towards the end of the year into next year at the next drill program, as well as the continued working towards that production restart and some of the de-risking and technical work, engineering work that has to be done to make that a possibility.
All right. So in September, you provided a comprehensive exploration update for the mining camp. So what are maybe break down a little bit for me what's the copper and zinc side, and then also the potential that we're seeing in gold.
So in terms of the work that we've been doing in the last, call it 6 to 9 months, is on the base metal side, is that the drill program that we concluded at the end of March of this year has been focused on upgrading resources on the resource that we've got at what we call the Keber complex. So we finished our drill program there, and that will now result in an updated resource that will be coming out in the early part of 2026. Then together with that is that we also drilled off a deposit that we found, or a zone that we found, the Renaissance we found, which is close also on the western side of the property, and that will also now we'll be working on a resource there. And then then Brace-MacLeod, the past producing mine, the last mine that was operating, is that we were doing drilling there as well, and that we will also be adding into resource. So we'll have resource being added from Renaissance, from Brace-MacLeod, and then also we expect to be converting all the inferred, or most of the inferred, at the Keber complex as well. So that's been the focus of our this 2025 work so far. And then on the gold side is that we had starting back in March, we had our first gold discovery, which was a gold in till anomaly that we finally got the results on. This was from sonic drilling that had been done, looking at glacier tills. And we have discovered there what we believe is the highest grade gold in till anomaly ever found in the Abitibi. So over 2,000 grains of gold per 10 kilogram sample, pristine particles at the bottom of the hole, close to the bottom. So, it's an indicator that there's a gold source there. There's work to be done, but it's a very exciting project. The second piece was on the gold side as well, and in terms of exploration, was the discovery of an orogenic gold system in the footwall of the Brace-MacLeod mine. So where the last mining was taking place, right in the footwall, unbeknownst to everybody, there was a orogenic gold system there. So we drilled our first hole there, about 25 meters away from the existing ramp there, and there's a gold system there. That hole had about just over 8 grams of gold over just over a meter, and we've drilled 5 other holes there. We've got a few assays still pending on that, but it's really given us a very early stage understanding of this orogenic gold system sitting in the footwall of the past producing mine in an area that essentially has no drilling in it because it was of no interest for base metals. And so it's just another one of those, that's been another success we see of being this potential of gold on this property that, there's a lot of work still to be gone into it, but it's early stages, we see it as being very exciting.
All right. So then what is Nuvau's strategy in this type of a situation? You're really there for copper and zinc. You have this potential for gold. How do both of these sides contribute to your story and also to potential financing and staggering of milestones and so on? How do you go at these two different, very different stages and very different metals?
Yeah, so I think what we're looking at here is how do we drive shareholder value, right? And so I think there's 2 parts. There always has been 2 parts to our story, which has been a near-term producer, the developer, having the ability to do that because of existing infrastructure. But at the same time is this big land package, a lot of exploration potential still left in it. And so there's this exploration story as well that we see as being really attractive. That was just on the base metal side. Now we add gold as another layer to that. So the strategy going forward is essentially the same as what we've looked at all along, is continue to work towards how do we get this property back into production. There's a mill there that we'll be looking to. We've got an option to acquire that from Glencore as well, to take that over in roughly the next 2 years. We've got this land package with a lot of base metal exploration potential. We've got over 10 years of resource already defined. In a technical report that we put out in 2023, we'll be adding base metal resource to that. So that sort of fits into that near-term producer and work associated with that to continue de-risking that on, technical studies, engineering studies, economic studies to get that to feasibility. And then the other piece that will drive value is that on the exploration side. Initially, over the first 3 years as a private company, we were focused essentially on base metals. And that was our agreement with Glencore, and we stuck to that. We focus on base metals. We've completed that, and now we'll shift our attention, and it's the right time to be doing it, we think, is we'll shift that exploration potential and now start looking for gold and following up on some of these targets that we've got. So we believe that those 2 strategies in different ways will drive value, and both in the short term and then also in the long term.
All right. So then looking into 2026, what are some milestones we should be looking for from Nuvau in the new year?
So I think some of the key ones, again, will come back to drilling. We're going to be focusing, as I say, on some of our gold targets more so in the early part of next year. One of the issues with Matagami is that there's a lot of wetland areas, swamp areas that you need winter conditions. And so the first quarter is typically when you get the bulk of the drilling. So we'll be looking. We've got 2 targets in particular that we're going after on the gold side. The one is this gold in till anomaly, to drill around that. And then the other one is a property that we acquired a couple of years ago, some claims, which has got an area called Thunder Mine. And this is amazing gold grades over decent intersections that was drilled in 1988 when they were actually looking for copper. Never found the copper, but there's gold grades there, some of them, in ounces per ton. And so we're looking to follow up on that as well. So that's going to be part of it, is more so biased towards our gold exploration, but we'll most likely have some base metal in there as well. And then it's updating of a PEA study and adding to the resources. That's going to be another big part of it that we'll see in 2026, hopefully early in 2026.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is very interesting to discover something like this on an existing resource.
Thank you very much. Thanks for doing the interview.
I'm Ernest Hoffman for Kitco Mining. Keep it here for more ongoing coverage from Xplor 2025 in Montreal. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Kitco Mining special coverage of Xplor is brought to you by Radisson Mining.